Hello, my friends. It's Andy coming to you live from California on a Tuesday evening, 7:30. Hey, I'm going to be talking about a lot of different things here, showing you some articles and reports and things like that. My goal is to be able to make sure that they all fit together. This may be a bit of a challenge because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tabs open. And in the research took me into just seconds ago before I went on live. And I'm pretty sure I can blend these all together because there's a lot of reasons why we need to open America and the school system. And I'm not going to talk about some of the things that will be obvious because there's no doubt that the kids need to be back in school because there's obviously so much research. A moron would not understand the fact that kids need to go back to school because it's just idiotic that they're not going back to school. You're going to kill people. Teachers are going to die. No, but apparently pot workers can go back to the pot stores and supermarket attendants, or whatever you want to call them, cashiers and the cart people and all those people. They can all go back to work. Doctors can go back to work. Police officers can go back to work. But teachers, for some reason, have suddenly not become essential workers. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. They're going to die. They're going to bring it home and get grandma sick. Well, then don't say, if you have grandma at home, then you can homeschool your kid. There are far more Americans, and again, this was not something I was going to talk about, but there are far more Americans out there, I am afraid to say, that simply are not equipped to do homeschooling. I know that all sounds great. I had to sue in order to get my kids into school because of somebody that wanted to homeschool the kids. They couldn't do it. They could not do it. And so I'm here to tell you that there are a large number of people in our society who can't homeschool even with the school's help. I'm telling you, people have to get back to work. We have to open things back up. The other reason is because this is being used to do a lot of other things that have nothing to do with the schools opening up. It has nothing to do with the pandemic, COVID-19. It has nothing to do with that. So let me share with you first before I do anything else, and that is my sponsors. Super, super important. All right, if you want to learn how to go live and do live streaming using this program right here, which is called StreamYard, you're going to want to go to joinmelive.live. I have a program right there. It's only $4.99. It would be great for you to go in there, watch the videos on how to get started. I have an intermediate program coming out and then an advanced program. I may blend the intermediate and advanced together. I haven't quite determine how I'm going to do it yet. There may be two, but right now there is a basic one that gets you started in that kind of stuff. So go to joinmelive.live and maybe just to support me, just send it out to some people that you think want to do live streaming because the basics are in there. The lighting, the sound, what equipment to use, blah, blah, blah. There even is a PDF on that landing page that you're going to go to. Just download that for free. That is yours. It shows you all the tools that I use. All right. You're going to use GetStream. You're going to use StreamYard and you're going to go get StreamYard.live in order to do that. And that is the program that I'm using right now, StreamYard. Go to getStreamYard.live to get the program and begin using it. There's a free version. You can use the free version for a period of time. And then when you're ready, then you go ahead and get into the basic system, or then the pro version, which is the version I use. I can go live on 8 different sites at the same time, 8 different locations at the same time. All right. And then we have todayshappycoffee.com. That is a coffee that I just discovered a few weeks ago. It's been out for a while, but I just discovered it and it is fantastic. I've lost probably in the neighborhood now of about 15 pounds. I would have known if I could have gone to the gym today, but the gyms are closed now starting today. So I couldn't go in to find out how much I weigh, but I've lost a lot of weight. I'm doing really well since I've started using this coffee and another drink on the website called Zest. Those two things have been fantastic. And one last thing is CBD. Today's CBD oil is from Viseo. Viseo is one of the top 50 healthcare companies in the world that have created a liposome-based technology for the delivery of the CBD nutrients. It is a fantastic CBD. It's the best on the planet, and you will love it. All right. So let me get to a couple of these comments really quick to see what's going on. Leandra with my title agrees completely. Thank you. April is sharing. Thank you, April, so much. Miss talking to you. Hope everything's going well. Got April Roga. I do have a very real concern with my son returning to school too soon because he has a compromised immune system and is unable to do distance learning. Well, then again, April, and I love you, and I think you feel the same way. Then you don't go to school, and the schools need to be open, but it doesn't mean you have to send your kid to school. So that's really important. I don't know what it is that people think that because the school's open now, you have to send your kid. You can do homeschooling all you want, or not you, April, but anybody else. You can do homeschooling. You do not have to send your kid to school. If you're afraid that that child going to school is going to catch something and bring it back, I would be more concerned the child is going to catch a cold and then bring it back, or bronchitis or something else, than it will be COVID-19. All right. And then I got Amy Fields. Nice to see you, Amy. All right. So I want to first address one thing first. And this is going to hit really the focus of what I'm talking about in regard to opening up America and the schools, because there is a lot of other things going on other than the obvious that children need to go to school, because that's where we identify, child abuse. That's where they get social, interaction. That is where the professional teachers are that are teaching our kids the different things. Now, you may not necessarily agree with the curriculum or something like that. And that is also up to you. It is up to us as parents to make sure that we tell the schools how we feel about certain curriculum. It really is still a democracy here in the United States. At least it is for now. And that is going to be the reason why we need to open up America and get our kids back into school. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. I'm going to find my Facebook page, and I put a post up, which was very controversial, apparently, because it caused a whole uproar. And actually, let me go to the top. It had to do with de Blasio being an idiot, and that he, had to, his socialist, and some of the stuff may be a little wonky, maybe not completely true, but it is a good meme, by the way. And I love his hair there, but he is a moron, and he has taken New York from one of the safest cities in the nation to the one of the unsafest cities in the nation, and whatnot. But then I get this message, or this comment from Barrett that says, so what? The piece of trash posting is meant to bully and roast people. Nothing in the post constitutes any crime. Okay, I didn't say... No, the fact that he and Cuomo killed thousands of elderly people, now that is a crime, not necessarily just this one thing. Why are you sharing this piece of crap post when there are so many more important issues like COVID-19 and the sick, sad racism permeating our country? Denmark is a Democrat socialist country, and they have a society with a great safety net and who take care of their citizens. Education through a master's degree is free. Healthcare is free. Their basic standard of living, something the USA would call solidly middle class. Unemployment payments are enough to cover house payments, monthly bills, food, transportation. And I just thought, man, okay, I got to go on, and I have to do a show that really, this is the problem. We have people that truly believe this stuff. Right. And it really is some craziness going on in this world, and especially the United States of America. Here is the problem with that post in many ways, is that we do not live in another country. We live in the United States of America, which is a republic. And we have a constitution that we have in this country that you cannot tear up, that you cannot burn up, as has been suggested by BLM or the idiot from Minnesota. I always forget her name. Elon. It's not Elon Musk. What's her name? I don't know why I can't remember her name. I should remember her name, because she too is an idiot, just like de Blasio and Cuomo. And she wants to just completely dismantle our Constitution. She took an oath. She took an oath to uphold the Constitution, not dismantle the Constitution, not blow it up, as again has been suggested by some people. And so by closing America, by keeping our kids at home and not in school, this is a plan. This is not based on science. Now, I keep seeing posts that the kids not going back to school is based on science. It is not. It literally is not. There are several studies that I have read that show that children should be in school. As a matter of fact, the best place they can be in school, especially during COVID-19, because it's going to take them to a place where they're going to continue to get education, that they are going to get out of their homes and get vitamin D, that they're going to get exercise, they're going to get mentally stimulated, and it is a healthy thing for them to be in school, not an unhealthy thing. And the likelihood of them bringing it to your home is nil. All right. And so let me go to my next screen share here. And I'm hoping that I'm going to stay on task here. And it's going to be very important that I try to do that. And I'm going to bring you, Wow, why is it in a different order? If it would only be in the same order on my list here that it is on my tabs, because my tabs is the next one. All right, I'm going to get rid of my lower third here. Hold on one second. I'm going to make the screen big. Hold on one second. Got to do something here. Get rid of the lower third, and then I'm going to make this large. All right, so here is a study out of Germany. I'm going to get rid of my Facebook page. There we go. All right, so this is a study out of Germany, a German study. Almost no coronavirus spreads at schools that reopen. Now, again, this is not the only one. You know, people are going to say, well, you can't buy just with Germany. No, there's other studies that show the exact same information from other countries. Other countries that this lady, who I don't even know, she's a friend of mine, but I have no idea who she is, who says that, the Netherlands are fantastic. Well, the Netherlands said the kids should be in school. The Germans said they should be in school. So if you love the Netherlands, but yet in the same post you're complaining about COVID-19 and how horrible it is, you're contradicting yourself. And so this is the reason why I need to do the show, because this is the deal here, right? This is where they're saying everything is based on science, what it's not. I'll put the link in the comment section right as soon as I get done. But let's go right here to where the study, the meat of the study. The study by the University of Dresden tested more than 2,000 school children and teachers for antibodies since the reopening of schools in Germany in the spring. The study found no evidence of widespread virus transmission. Antibodies were detected in only 12 of the 2,045 people examined. That's not much more than at the beginning of the pandemic in March, meaning that very few school children caught the disease. Instead of fears that schools would become hotspots for transmission, it is rather the opposite. That's a quote, said the study. Director Reinhard Berner, director of the Polyclinic for Children and Adolescent Medicine at the Dresden University Hospital, children act more like a brake on the infection. Wait, let me say that again. Children act more like a brake on the infection. Not every infection that reaches them is passed on. Antibodies were also not found to be above average in the teachers at the facilities. What? Antibodies were also not found to be above average in the teachers at the facilities. Saxony was the first federal state in Germany to restart regular school operations after the lockdown ended in mid-April. The Ministry of Education ordered the school opening to be scientifically studied. In other words, the children were used as guinea pigs. And thank God, because we found out some good stuff. A total of around 1,500 students between the ages of 14 and 18 and 500 teachers between the ages of 30 and 66 were examined. Saxony's Ministry of Education said the study shows that the decision was right to reopen the schools early and that schools should continue as normal in the fall, even if the overall infection rate should increase again. The right of children and adolescents to education and participation and equally opportunities must not be neglected, according to the study. All right, so again, I know that people are going to come on and they're going to say, you can't go by Germans, they're crazy, or what have you, but that is not the only study. I believe the other one that I read was in either Ireland or Scotland. I think it was Ireland. Another one was in one of the Netherlands, I believe, at one of those countries that found the same information, consistently are finding the same information. And yet we have people in our country that are saying that that the keeping the schools closed is based on science. You obviously have not read the science and the studies that are going on. The research that is being done is that just the opposite, is that schools should be opened up, that it acts like a brake. The children act like a brake for the infection. And now the kids are going to also now have the opportunity to begin learning again, socializing. Kids that are being abused will be identified. I had a Facebook Live that I did on my personal page the other day. And just in the last couple of weeks, I have 3 people in my world who have children who have committed suicide. Is it linked directly to not being in school? I don't know, but I just know I've not had that many in my entire life, I don't think, where families had that I know had children who have committed suicide at a very young age. And so this is extremely bothersome that you have more of an issue without having school than you have with school. Right. As a matter of fact, you have 0. In California, do you know how many children have died from COVID-19? 0. 0 children in California have died of COVID-19. And yet they do not want to send the children back to school. Well, what about the germs that they're bringing home? No, it says in the studies, not only this one, but other studies, that the children act as a brake for the virus, that it doesn't get passed on by the children. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. I'm not a scientist in that way, but why does every study say the same thing? That the children don't seem to be able to be passing it on, that even if they do have it, that when they get home, it is not being passed on to the people in the house. And again, because the schools are open, here's the other part. You don't have to send your kids to school if you don't want to. If you are that afraid of the kids going back to school, then do not send your kids back to the open schools with no social distancing, no masks, because you know their kids aren't going to keep it. I know my kids. I love my kids. Do you think that they're going to keep the mask on the entire time without fiddling with it? Are you kidding me? You guys are completely nuts who are out there, because this has nothing to do with whether we can send. It has nothing to do with the kids. The Democrats care less about the children and more about what's going to happen in November. They care more about how they're going to affect the election. This is really all it's all about. I know people say, don't bring politics into this. It's COVID-19. It is about politics. They found a way to harm our country and to harm our kids. Democrats have never cared about people. They have never cared about their voters. They have never cared about Black lives. They have never cared, at least not in the last 5 decades that I know of, because that's how long I've been around. And that is that in the Democrat-run states and cities, that's where you find more poverty in Black communities. That's where you find more crime in Black communities, is in the Democrat-run cities and in the Democrat-run states. When you have that combination, both the Democrat governor and the Democrat mayor, that is a recipe for disaster in the Black community. And so to think that, to say that they even care, I could not even answer, I've already forgot her name. The girl, I don't have it on there. The girl who responded to my Facebook comment, she has no clue. Right, they're blind. Right, they're blind to we don't want to see all the crime that are going on. We don't care that another child was killed last night. They don't care that a child has been killed somewhere in the United States from gun violence from a Black aggressor on a Black child. No one cares in the Democratic community, and this is what this is all about. Keeping the schools closed has nothing to do with what they're claiming it does, because if it was based on the science, then the schools would be open. All right. So I hope that I didn't beat that up too much, because I want to beat that up. Oh, I told you I was going to put the link in the comments. Let me do that really quick before I forget, because I will forget. Here is the link. I'll put it in the comments. You can read the rest of it. And then you can also subscribe to Dan Bongiorno. He's fantastic. All right. So there it is. And it's in the comments. You can check on that. All right. So let's see. Corinder. Thank you, Corinder. I appreciate that. Howdy, Deborah. Nice to see you. Thank you, Annie, for hosting and discussing this topic. I've been a wreck with this decision. I know. I just opened the dang schools. And again, then you can decide whether you want to send them or not. Sharon says, my boyfriend says it's just a way of controlling people. Absolutely. Keep people in a panic state. I say people should read the book of Revelations. Absolutely, Sharon. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Hey, it's me, Corinder, on YouTube. Nice. Smile Time Weekly. I love the name of that show. In response to the comment. Yeah, I love that. I love some memes. I know that they're partially true, right? And you put them up and you just get, oh my gosh, you get the best. Sometimes I have Democrat friends who kind of stay silent every so often, but that's how I pull them out. I post something that's kind of like, even I know that it's not completely 100%, but there's a lot of truth in it, right? He is a socialist. He is a communist. There's no doubt about that, de Blasio. But, there's some other things in there that may or may not be true. All right. So let me go to this next thing here. This next one is going to talk about Texas, right? You're hearing, so in conjunction with what you're hearing about not opening the schools, they're going to say, well, look what's happening in Texas. Texas is blowing up. It's in Florida. They're the next Wuhan. And you're hearing all this stuff, right? And you're getting told that the hospitals are filling up. Hospitals, number one, before I go into this thing, are normally at 90%. If you've ever had a child, because you always end up in the emergency room at some point, right? Almost with every one of my kids, I've ended up in the emergency room at some point. And it's always packed, always. And it takes hours to get in to see the doctor, unless you're absolutely dying, right? And then it takes forever. So understand the hospitals are always always at 90%. Now, again, I'm not a medical doctor, so maybe there's, some not, somebody, oh, it's not true. They're not always, well, I'm telling you, they're always full. I know the one close to me is always full. Every emergency room that I've gone to, even when I got into a bar fight back in I got in a couple bar fights, I ended up in emergency room a couple times. And even then I had to wait. When I've been bit by police dogs, seriously, where the dog bit through my hand and through my stomach, I had to sit there, wait to see the doctor. All right. And it's been like that forever. And now to say that they're always full. All right. Here, I'm going to share my screen and got to find the right one. Here we go. All right. So here is Texas. All right. Let's look at, oh, shoot. Wrong one. Hold on. Wrong one. Here we go. This is the one I want you to see. So, oh, shoot. I deleted that one by accident. Darn it. Hold on. All right. Let me show you this one. I clicked on the wrong one. All right. So here we got, this is, where is this? This is the city of Dallas. All right. City of Dallas. This is the mayor, Eric Johnson. And he tweeted on June 12th, 2020, total beds, 6,065. Beds occupied, 4,293, which was 71% of the beds. That's actually kind of low based on things that I've heard in some of the research I've done. Many hospitals are often at 90%. All right. But they're well into the high. They're well into the high. Yes, son, you can have an ice cream. Always, right? And when you watch my show, don't I always have to give my kids permission to ice cream because they know when I'm on the show. All right. Total ICU beds, 927. ICU beds occupied, 646, which is 70%. Total ventilators, 968. Ventilators in use, 320, which is 33%. Actually pretty low. All right. So that was in June 12th, 2020. All right. Now, just the other day, this was July 12th. Remember, they're telling us that Dallas is on fire and people are dying. A total number of beds, which is less than it was in June, 5,869. And out of those beds, 4,126, 70%. So it's 1% less than it was in June. already blowing up their narrative, right? Total ICU beds 907, which again is less. There was 927 in June. In July, just the other day, there's 907 ICU beds. ICU beds occupied 663, 73%. So 3% more. Oh, wow. Let's panic. Let's close down Dallas because 3% more of the ICU beds are occupied. Please. Total ventilators 961. And total ventilators 327, 372, which is 39%, 6% more. All right. So is it really blowing up? Is it really gone to such a place where we cannot open up our country? Oops, sorry. I hit the wrong one. Are we really in a place based on those statistics where you're seeing virtually nothing's really changing, and we're only at 70% in Dallas, but yet we're being told in Texas it's crazy. The sky is falling. The sky is falling. All right, and the same in Florida, absolutely. All right, so now let's get rid of that one. may have to bring that other one back because it may be the one that I wanted to show. So here we go. Let's go to Houston now. Let's take a look at Houston. And I just want to share, and again, this is just, it's not, have I ever said that COVID-19 is a hoax? Have I ever said that? No. Have I ever said it's not happening? No. People are getting sick, right? We've had pandemics before. These things happen. It's not, but we've never closed down our country. We've never closed down the entire, our entire society and ruined our economy. So these things happen, but why now? Why all this stuff, especially when you have research from several countries that said the schools are perfectly fine opening up. There's nothing wrong with opening up the schools because there's another narrative, right? There's another reason for doing this. So let me go ahead and open up this one here. It is, it's my other Twitter one. Here we go. All right, this is in Houston. I'm going to go back over here and make it large because I know some of you watch this on your phone and all right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I think I must have hit something. Hopefully you can hear me again because it said that I was muted for a second. Sorry about that. I must have clicked on the wrong thing for a second. Let me tell you the story, and I don't know if you heard this part, but I'm going to tell you a story about that. I had a procedure where they colonoscopy. I'll just tell you the thing, colonoscopy, and they hit something, right? So I was internally bleeding for a very long period of time, for a day or two. I had to drive myself to the emergency room because I was bleeding a lot. I filled up an entire toilet full of blood. Right. So I didn't want to tell anybody because I'm a man and I'm stupid. So I get in my car, I start driving. I'm kind of delirious driving to the emergency room. And I get there and I'm feeling I'm bleeding out of my backside and it's bad. And they said, okay, well, just have a seat. Did you not understand? I'm bleeding internally and it's bad. Well, a lot of people say that they're bleeding and just go ahead and have a seat. And they had me go take a seat and wait. So this is not unusual to wait in the emergency. Are you kidding me? I sound like John, what's his name, Harris. He's a great guy, great conservative. But I'm bleeding internally. You're going to go make me sit down? Yeah, well, you got to. We don't have any beds. So it's always like this. So back to my screenshot here. People have to wait. I know that's the way that it is. All right, but let's look what's really happening. So here is a graph. Now, you may not be able to see this, but I'm going to tell you this little light blue area is COVID-19. All right, COVID-19 people in the first bit, the dark blue, that is COVID-19 intensive care bed usage. 607. This is in Houston. All right, 674 and non-COVID-19. There's more people in non-COVID-19 care usage. So there, you have more people that are non-COVID-19 using beds. So 678, not a lot more, but four more people than the 674 that are COVID-19. All right. So then you have non-COVID-19 medical surgical beds usage, which is 4,982. 4,900 are non-COVID-19 medical surgical beds in usage. COVID-19 medical surgical beds in use is 1,783. Again, this is in Houston. This was, and I had the date. I'm so sorry. I got July 14th. This is when this was made. All right. Current available beds is 2,507. Oh, did you hear what I said before? So COVID-19 medical surgical beds in use, 1,782. Non-COVID-19, 4,000, almost 5,000. Let me just go to 5,000. It's a lot easier to say. All right. So you have almost 5,000 beds are being used by non-COVID-19. Only 1,781 are being used by COVID-19, and 2,507 beds are available. And then they have a large number of other beds that are available. That is just possible. There's not a number there, but it says there's more beds that are possible if needed. All right, that's in Houston. All right, so I've taken you to Texas where things are on fire, but the data doesn't support what it is they're telling you on the news. And yet here in California, it's the same thing. In Florida, it's the same thing. This show could be 2 hours long of me finding graphs from the very same stuff. Again, in California, 0 kids have died from COVID-19. Yet they've still decided in San Diego and Los Angeles not to open up schools for the fall. Not one single kid. There's research and studies in all these other countries that show that the kids don't pass on the COVID-19. That it's a break. The children are a break for the virus. This is not just the German study that I saw. So again, I'm trying to tell you this because I'm not a conspiracy theory type of person, but there is something going on that really is not in the best interest of our country. There are people trying to destroy our country. You see people that believe that socialism in our country is what should be happening here in our country. That is not who we are. We are the United States of America. We are a republic. We have a constitution. That is who we are. We're not going to be communists, not going to be socialist. We're not tearing up anything. We're not destroying anything. We're not doing anything. That is what they're hoping is going to happen. They're hoping that people are going to get so upset and so mad that our economy is horrible, that people are dying when they're not, that our schools are not. You chose not to open the schools. It's not that the schools aren't open because we don't want them open. Because we have morons in our political parties that are in leadership that have made decisions. Gavin Newsom, who needs to go, whose aunt is Nancy Pelosi. Is there any shock that Nancy Pelosi had a press conference where she said the president wants to open the schools and he wants to kill people. That's what she basically said in her press conference. And then the following day, her nephew shut down California. Do you not see how that is put together? That those two things go together. They're not separate. It isn't coincidence that Gavin Newsom, the nephew of Nancy Pelosi, the day after she said that the president wants to kill children by putting them back into school, that the following day he closed down the state of California. Really? You can't be that stupid. You can't be so stupid that you think that our country is going to be socialist. It is not going to be socialist. Because that's not, we are a republic and we have a constitution. Let's see. Yes, I saw these bold. They want Trump out more than they care for our people and country. Absolutely. That is absolutely true. Amy Phelps, I can imagine. It's all crap. Join a group I'm in called Common Sense Health, run by a doctor, and it's so informative. There was another video that I was looking for. I couldn't find it in time for the show. I will find it and put it up. It's a really good video, or I'll probably post it on some of my pages. You're going to want to watch it. It's all doctors that are pediatricians. I don't know if you've seen it. It got played on a couple shows I was watching, and every pediatrician, I think it was on NBC News, if I'm not wrong. And the host of the show, or the reporter, or whatever you want to call him, he was so disappointed. The face that he had was like, I could actually probably find it. I'm going to try to talk and find it at the same time, but I want to share one more thing. So let me get rid of that Twitter. So that was Houston, right? Let me talk about this really quick, right? The masks thing is not masks. We all know they don't work. The Democrats know they don't work. Dr. Fauci knows they doesn't work because he said they don't work early on, right? They all said masks don't work, but yet they all want it. So it is a thing that we don't want to be involved in, because here, let me show you. Oops, sorry, wrong thing. I'm going to give you this report here and share it with you. This was a study that was done. And the reason I'm showing you this study is because this study was done prior to the pandemic. It was done in October 18, 2016. And it's about why face masks don't work, a revealing review. And the reason this is important is because this would not be allowed to be published today if somebody did this research. It's Oral Health is the website, and it was in the archives in .org, so archive.org. And again, this would not be allowed because we know that the press will not allow people to submit stories like this and to create documents like this that don't fall fall in the line with what they want the American people to believe. But why face masks? So I'm going to scroll down to an area down here. Now I'll put the link in the comments so you can read this too. But right down here, I'm just going to read something really quick here. Hopefully not. Yeah, it's not going to be that quick. Hold on. Let me make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Oops. We got to find that spot again. All right. So the inadequacies between 2004 and 2016, at least a dozen research or review articles have been published on the inadequacies of face masks. So here is all the references. It's all in there. All agree that the poor facial fit and limited filtration characteristics of face masks make them unable to prevent the wearer inhaling airborne particles. In their well-referenced 2011 article on respiratory protection for healthcare workers, doctors Harriman and Brochu, I don't know, conclude that face masks will not protect against the inhalation of aerosols. Following their 2015 literature review, Dr. Zhu and colleagues stated there is a lack of substantiated evidence to support claims that face masks protect either patient or surgeon from infectious contamination. 25. In the same year, Dr. R. McIntyre noted that randomized controlled trials of face masks failed to prove their efficacy. Wow. Efficacy, almost had a stroke there. 5. In August 2016, responding to a question on the protection from face masks, the Canadian Centre for Occupational Health and Safety replied, the filter material of surgical masks does not retain or filter out submicron particles. Surgical masks are not designed to eliminate air leakage around the edges. Surgical masks do not protect the wearer from inhaling small particles that can remain airborne for long periods of time. In 2015, Dr. Leon Walker, principal researcher of the New Zealand Nurses Organization, succinctly described within a historic context the inadequacies of face masks. Healthcare workers have long relied heavily on surgical masks to provide protection against influenza and other infections. Yet there are no convincing scientific data that support the effectiveness of masks for respiratory protection. The masks we use are not designed for such purposes. And when tested, they have proved to vary widely in filtration capability, allowing penetration of aerosol particles ranging from 4 to 90%. Face masks do not satisfy the criteria of effectiveness as described by doctors Landfill and Shojinya in their NEGM article. The tension between needing to improve care and knowing how to do it, the authors declared that recommending or mandating the widespread adoption of interventions to prove quality or safety requires rigorous testing to determine whether, how, or where the intervention is effective. They stress the critical nature of this concept because a number of widely promulgated interventions are likely to be wholly ineffective, even if they do not harm patients. A significant inadequacy of face masks is that they were mandated as an intervention based on an assumption rather than on appropriate testing. Oh, and I could go on, but I'm not. I could read that whole thing. It just excites me to no end that this is going to piss people off because it is just not, again, they talk about science, right? That they want to base everything by science. I put that article in the comments. And I just want you to understand that the science says that masks don't work. All right, period. And that's coming from a guy in Brea who's telling you. So we have science that has been put together by countries that have allowed kids to go to school. So we actively had kids, they've used them as guinea pigs. They've put kids in schools to see what happens, right? And in that, thank God, nothing happened. As a matter of fact, they found that the children were a break for the virus, according to the study. That the virus stopped with the children. Stopped with the children. They didn't see any teachers getting any more sick than they would have normally. They saw nothing, right? Unmasked, no social distancing. Kids go back to school. Let's have some fun. Let's go to the playground. Let's play ball. Let's social gather. Let's talk and have fun and play. Play handball and tetherball, all the things where you're all touching the same ball. Let's have some fun. And nothing happened. The kids were a break for the virus. Right? Then we have another science, right? Several scientists are referenced, several studies are referenced, a dozen studies from scientists, doctors saying masks don't work. Right? But yet, have you ever seen this? Have you ever seen? No, I don't even know how I found it. Somebody, I think that might have been a Dan Bongino thing. I'm pretty sure. And he referenced it on the show. And so I was able to use that. It is crazy. It is just freaking nuts. All right. So I know this is titled Open America, Open the Schools, because you're thinking, oh, well, he's going to talk about why it's important for school. Because, and that it's true. But my premise for the show is that there's something else going on. Right? With their defunding. Imagine this that we have going on in our country right now, where you're being told to wear masks and they know they don't work. Right? Doctors know that. You don't think that the doctors that are telling you to wear don't know that they don't work. They know they don't work. Do you know that the media also knows this stuff because they aren't completely stupid. They're just trying to get you to believe something that's not true. And the reason they block certain things, and they'll probably block my show. YouTube will probably not show my show because it gives you information that is the truth and it's based on fact. And they'll block it. They don't want you to know this stuff. Do you understand? Right. And so now on top of it, also, you have close the schools, wear masks. Texas is on fire. Florida is on fire. They're not. I just showed you the statistic that they're not. All right. And so they want you to believe that. They also now want to defund and dismantle police departments, law enforcement. I know that because I get morons on my Facebook page, and I love keeping them around because it entertains me. That say they're not. They don't want. Democrats don't want to defund. Okay. All right, boomer. Go ahead and believe that because they're doing it right now, right? They're doing it and they're dismantling, they're defunding, and crime is rising. Why do they? They know that defunding and dismantling cops is going to cause crime rates because they don't care. I've told you that. We know they don't care. For over 5 decades in my lifetime, they have been destroying Black communities. And yet they say Blacks love Democrats. They vote. They They vote Democrat. That's one thing the Republicans don't have, and that is the black vote. It's because you've beaten them down so much in these poor communities that they tend to believe you. I've called it not Munchausen syndrome. What is it? Shoot, what's it called? I studied it as a homicide detective and a family crimes detective. Shoot. Oh my gosh, I just had a brain fart and I just did a show on it not too long ago. But that's what happens, right? Your captors begin to fall in love with their captor, right? That thing that I can't remember what it's called. And it'll be there. All right, so you have this happen. This has been happening for decades, right? They keep saying, well, we're going to give you stuff for free. Back to my friends' comments, is that free stuff. You give people free stuff, and they will begin to choose to follow you because people are lazy. Some people are just freaking stupid and lazy. They have no desire to work. Did you see in those comments that I read early on? If you missed that, I'm sorry. You're going to have to go back and watch the replay because I deleted it from my post here. Is that you give people for free, and they begin to fall into a lull of not working, not having any ambition, not going to school, choosing violence and crime instead of picking themselves up by the bootstraps and working. I've seen people post on my thing, well, people have to work 2 jobs. So I worked 4 jobs. How about that? When I was a police officer for 21 years, I had other jobs. I did other stuff. I don't understand why. So what? It was one of my famous guys, one of the guys that constantly comment, you have to have more than one job to make it. Okay, so what are you saying? Get another job or get a better job. Quit the job you have and start your own business. We can do that here in the United States of America, where we have a constitution and we have a republic. That's where you do that. You can't do that in other countries that you're claiming. You're just stupid people, right? Get a job and work. Go to school. You don't even have to go to school. You can learn. You can get a degree essentially on the internet. Well, they've removed much of the good stuff, but but you can still get a degree by following me. I'll teach you all the right stuff. All right, and so you got that. They're dismantling, and what else is happening? I mean, I took a long time to get to this point. Is that they are wanting to take away our weapons? They don't want us to defend ourselves, so they want to defund and dismantle police, and now they also say it's against the law to defend yourself. Let me show. Oops. Hold on. So I just hit my mic and now I caused myself a whole bunch of grief. All right. Let me show you a video. I'm going to share with you a video. Shannon Bream, who is on Fox. Oh, he's always showing Fox. Fox sucks. They're horrible people. Okay. Well, she's interviewing somebody who knows some stuff. And that is the Attorney General for Missouri. So hold on. Let me bring that up. Get rid of that article, which is fantastic about masks. Thank God. I found that. I'm so happy. All right, so let me make sure the audio is going to play, and I'm going to share this video. Hold on, I got to do something here, make it bigger, and listen to what the Attorney General has to say for Missouri about the DA who's pressing charges against the McGlowskis, who protected themselves as the BLM mob broke down the gate to the private community and threatened them, right? Somehow in a stand your ground state, you're not able to protect yourself. So I'm going to go through this again just really quick. And I'm sorry, I just want to make sure that you understand that you have to wear a mask. The COVID-19 is going to kill you. So you can't leave your home. We're going to shut down your state. California just shut down the state again. You can't send your kids to school because they're going to die and they're going to kill, although not one single child in California has died from COVID-19. Now, I understand that some children have got sick and they got some other related illnesses. That's all that happens in life. All right. So you got that. Right. And then we have, they have to wear a mask. I think I already said that one. And then they want to dismantle and defund police, right? So that we have higher crime. They want higher crime. They're not shocked. AOC is an idiot, right? What she said is obviously stupid. And I can't really I don't know if she just wants us to believe she's stupid because she said so many stupid things but somehow she got elected. Right. And so I'm always trying to figure out, like, does she say, because I think she thinks the people that follow her are more stupid than she is. And so they tend to believe her. There's 24,000 people that voted for her in this recent election, and you're thinking, are there 24,000 people that are that stupid that they actually believe her? Like, I'm trying to figure it out, or they just hate the administration or hate America that much. I don't know. So you got that. So now we have this, and this is just so telling what this attorney general has to say. So let me play this. So I just want to go through all those things, and now we have this. All right, here we go. Let me mute my mic. Okay, hold on. That didn't work. Let me refresh my screen. Hold on, I got to refresh the screen. It'll probably take it away, and I'll have to reconnect it. Sorry about that. That happens sometimes when it sits for a long time. I put this clip up probably about 2 hours ago, and now I got to find that spot.
They're signed off by a computer, not something you'd be. Mr. Attorney General, right? So let's dig into the details.
Hold on, I got to find the spot again. I have to cue it up.
Attorney General Eric Schmitt.
There we go. All right. So this is Eric Schmitt. He is the Attorney General for Missouri. So he knows something about St. Louis. All right. So here we go. I'm going to share the screen again. I apologize that this is what happens when you go live. I'm actually going to pull it down and reconnect it just to make sure that the audio plays. I want to make sure that everything works, or else it won't be as good, right? If you don't hear what's going on. Hold on. I'm going to beat my son here in 1 second because and now he wants another. Oh, now. Yes, you can have that, son. Little shit. All right, here we go. I'm going to make it large again, and then I'm going to mute my mic.
Mr. Attorney General, good to have you with us tonight.
Good to be here.
Okay, so I know this is being handled by a local prosecutor, not something you'd be involved with, but what is your take on what we're seeing tonight? The local warrant there signed off by a judge and being executed by St. Louis police.
Well, this is obviously all breaking right now, but under Missouri law, under the Castle Doctrine, an individual has really expansive authority to protect their own lives, their home, and their property. And I think the story here to watch here is the local prosecutor, Kim Gardner. Kim Gardner has an abysmal record in prosecuting violent crime, has recently released and been complicit in the release of dozens and dozens of inmates who've been charged with violent crimes. And has a record of making politically motivated decisions not based on the law. So this is certainly something to watch.
Okay, so here's a statement that she put out shortly after this happened. She said, peaceful protesters were met by guns and a violent assault. We will not tolerate the use of force against those exercising their First Amendment rights and will use the full power of Missouri law to hold people accountable. Can you give us an idea what kind of charges that Prosecutor Kim Gardner may have in mind against this couple with respect to being out there with those weapons?
You know, I don't really know what's in the mind of Kim Gardner. She made that statement, but obviously one important factor here is this was a private street. This was not a public street. These individuals were on their way to the mayor's house, actually, which has been vandalized several times. But this was on a private street. And if you listen to the McCloskeys, they felt threatened that they were going to be attacked and that it was made known to them. They made known to the protesters and the people who came by that this was a private street. And they said that they were going to murder them and come into their house. And so, as I said, the Castle Doctrine in Missouri is pretty expansive. It allows you to defend your life, obviously your family's life, your home, but also your property. And this was on private property. And so it's hard to get in the mind of Kim Gardner. As I said, she has a sketchy track record of making politically based decisions. And I would also point out, Shannon, that this very same day, it's also there's been calls to change the name of St. Louis, which is ridiculous. And there were peaceful folks praying at the base of that statue who were assaulted, and those folks haven't been charged with anything. So again, Kim Gardner's track record is certainly suspect.
Okay, again, we want to put up what we've been sent or photos of, we're told, is the warrant. And it's hard to read it probably from the screen, but you can look at close inspection that it's going after both of the guns that the McCloskeys had that night. And also some pictures of what appear to be them seizing the rifle. We'll continue to try to get details about exactly what was taken from the home. McCloskey's look to be cooperating, and the police look to be peaceful. It looks like this is executed like any search warrant. But quickly, let me ask you, we're almost out of time, but I want to make sure that we mention the feds have gotten involved in some of the cities that they say are really struggling, including Kansas City, to help with the crime spike. Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, Operation Legend is going to be launched, and it's aimed after a 4-year-old who was killed in his apartment, and the youngest victim of violence in Kansas City. You see a 30% increase in murders in Kansas City, spike in St. Louis. There's rise in carjackings in both St. Louis and Kansas City, and this, of course, is amidst the calls of defunding the police, which is obviously irresponsible. So we're seeing a surge of violent crime in St. Louis and Kansas City. So those federal agents and law enforcement will be working with the U.S. attorney there. We have a partnership with the U.S. attorney, so some of our lawyers that have been deputized as assistant U.S. attorneys will be assisting in that to add capacity. So this is an all hands on deck moment to really tackle violent crime, and people deserve that. We've lost too many kids. There's too many mothers who've lost their children, too many children who've lost their parents. Something's got to be done, and we need to work together on that.
Sounds like you're doing that there in Missouri.
All right, sorry, I didn't really intend to play the whole thing. It just was so good. I just he laid it all out, right? She's out of control. The DA in that community is out of control. They seized their weapons. That mostly peaceful protesters are you kidding me? They threatened to kill them and to kill their dog. They just got done rioting in the city and came in through a private gate, broke the gate to go vandalize another crime, the mayor's home. And you are telling me that that couple was not allowed to protect themselves. They are alive because they had a weapon. They told the combatants that they would use that weapon, and they're alive. Their house is standing because they took a stand, because they are allowed to by the laws in that frickin' state. And you got a moron of a DA who sent those cops. The cops were, did you notice that the cops' backs were turned to the camera? The story is from the homeowner, Mr. McGlowski, is that, I can't pronounce his name, I'm horrible at names, is that he said the cops were apologetic. They didn't want to be there, but they were under orders to take the weapons, and the officers turned their back to the camera so that their faces would not be seen in the picture. And so you at least have a little bit of common sense. Again, sometimes we get put in a position. I don't know if you know this. I a cop for 21 years with the city of Anaheim. You get put in a position sometimes where you may we have to do that. Thank God, in the 21 years I was in Anaheim, that never happened to me. Now, I can tell you some other stories, but the show would go on for way too long. So I hope the almost hour that this show was on, it was beneficial in some way to kind of take you down some of these things. And when you lay them all together, right? If we just simply had dismantling law enforcement, defunding law, and then nothing else. No COVID-19, kids were going to school. The states weren't being shut down, and you just had that. That would be like you just have a couple of idiots that want to dismantle it, and they're morons, right? But or we have this pandemic, and you know what? We're going to open up the states, we're going to open the schools, but you have to wear these masks. I would have to wear the mask going into the grocery store and do whatever else, right? You would just do that, but again, my premise for the show is that we have all of these things all at once, and it's just so obvious that it has nothing to do with our health and safety. It has everything to do with the destruction of our country. And I know that many people will say, "Hey, Andy, you're hyperbolic. You're a conspiracy theorist. You're all these things." I am warning you right now, America, those of you that are American, whether you're Democrat, Independent, or a Green Party or a Republican. I don't care. There's Republicans that I can't stand, right? Mitt Romney, and there's a couple others. I won't go through the list of others that I just think they're just so ridiculous because they're not doing anything either, right? They are kind of pandering to some of these things. They're going, oh, Black Lives Matter. Screw Black Lives Matter is a fraud. We all know what it is, and we know that they're raising money for the Democratic Party. There's no doubt. Everybody knows it. Right. And I know I say this, everybody know, you do know it. You've heard it. You're just ignoring it. You got the people that are commenting that are on these posts, and you've seen them, right? And they've called me a piece of shit. They've called me an asshole. I'm sorry, kids. They've called me a whole bunch of names. Why do they do that? Why do you think they do that? Because they have nothing, right? When you give them facts, when you show them the truth, they know the truth. They know. I have a gentleman, and now I can't think of his name either, Phoenix. And I want to put up Stockholm Syndrome. That's the thing I was talking about. Where to go? It's way up here somewhere. And I want to thank Amy for putting it up there. There's Amy. Stockholm Syndrome. That's what it is. That is essentially, and I have a show called Stockholm Syndrome, and that is what the Democrats have done to the poor cities in their states and their cities, is that they have lulled them into believing that giving them crap for free, their EBT cards, is that what's called, ETB or EBT? I forget what it's called, cards, free stuff, promise them, in San Francisco, they give them free needles, free alcohol, free rooms, free stuff, right? And they go, oh, we love Democrats. They give us free stuff. They are awesome. And we can crap in the streets and we don't get arrested. We can piss in the street. We don't get arrested. We can shoplift in San Francisco. You can shoplift in San Francisco and you will not be arrested or prosecuted. Right? In California, in Los Angeles, you commit a misdemeanor. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. Just go ahead and do that. You can assault people. No big deal. You just saw that this attorney general in Missouri said, you know what, you can, based on what he's seen and the DA do, they've arrested nobody that's committed any crimes in regard to Black Lives Matter Incorporated and any of the rioting that's going on. It's okay. That is okay. But don't you dare protect yourself. You protect yourself and you will go to jail. Law enforcement officer in Atlanta protecting himself, being shot at by a violent suspect, had to use his weapon, unfortunately take the life of the suspect who was committing an assault, a dangerous assault on the officer, and he's now been arrested. He was first fired, now he's arrested and being prosecuted for protecting himself. This is nothing to do with COVID-19. It has nothing to do with it has everything to do with the destruction of the United States of America. And if you don't believe it, you will soon. At some point, you will listen to me, and you will understand that you have to begin to wake up. I know many of you don't speak out because you're afraid of getting fired. You're afraid of being canceled. You saw the New York Times op-ed reporter. She quit because she couldn't take the harassment because she was leaning moderate. And she was being called a communist and a racist in the New York Times. She had to resign because she couldn't take it anymore. She didn't get fired. She had to resign because she was being harassed so much by the other reporters within the New York Times that she could not stick around. If you don't know that story, that's another story, right? You are being manipulated by the press. And if you don't fall in line in the New York Times or the Washington Post or CNN or MSNBC, you will be harassed until you leave. Because they don't want to hear you saying facts or the truth. Just look at some of the comments on some of my posts. And again, I love triggering some of these people. I try not to do it too often because they won't comment any longer. They won't show themselves. But it always ends up the same way. I always tell them, well, give me the thing that Donald Trump, because it always goes to Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump is lazy and horrible and dumb, yet he is responsible for everything in the world, according to these people. That's what makes me laugh. That no matter what my post, it's Donald Trump's fault. He's an idiot. He's a Russian collusionist. He is, whatever. He's a criminal. All right, give me the statutes that he's violated. I need to see those statutes. Oh, well, he's a criminal. He's a criminal. You're really stupid if you don't know he's a criminal. Okay, well, give me the statutes. I need help. I'm too stupid. Can you please give me the statutes? Because I can't find them. I've only been a police officer 21 years. I've only been researching this area for the last 2.5 years. I'm only an expert witness in federal court cases in both North America or in the United States of America and Canada. Right? I'm apparently too dumb to know. Show me, but yet they never show me. Right? I have some comments right now, and I say, show me. Well, he has some business dealings where he's being sued. All right. If you, okay, listen, I won't say he's a billionaire because when you say billionaire, he's not a billionaire. Okay, whatever he is, let's say he's 100,000-aire. We know he's a millionaire, but you have that many properties across the United States and in other countries. You don't think at some point you're going to get sued. You have the many people that are creating companies and businesses licensing your name. I license the name of my company and somebody else runs it. I have no idea what she does on a day-to-day basis. She could mess up. She could do something and I could be sued for that too. Right? He sold steaks, right? Do you think Donald Trump actually sold a steak in his life? Do you think he actually sold one of his training programs, like personally, like said, here, buy my training No, stuff happens and you are going to get sued. And I love it. I love that that is their go-to thing. And I said, well, no, what I'm trying to get to at is what has he done as president that he's a criminal? Show me the thing that he's done while he's been president. You can talk about womanizing. Listen, he was a bachelor sometimes, he was married sometimes, and a millionaire, and doing a lot of, at a lot of places, had a lot of women throwing themselves at him. Okay, listen, all right, we could go to JFK, we can go to a lot of other presidents, right? Clinton, you're talking about imperfect people, right? We're always going to be imperfect, all right? Aside of the womanizing, aside from the potential lawsuits and stuff that he has going on prior to becoming president, show me what he's done as president that is criminal. Show me what he's done as president that is the thing that he's destroyed our country. I could give you the list of the things that he's done for our country positively. He says things that sometimes I know when he says stuff that it's going, oh no, why'd you say that? But it kind of makes me laugh, right? I don't go crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a tangent, but you got to understand, this is not about COVID-19. It is not about the kids going back to school. It is not about Black Lives Matter. Right? It is about the destruction of the United States of America so that when November comes, you will not vote for their dead person who happens to still be upright. He's like a zombie, right? He's one of the dumbest people that was, he was like the AOC 50 years ago, right? He was the AOC. Like, it was completely stupid. Nothing that he ever tried to pass. He's just made the wrong moves, made the wrong decisions. Somehow he became vice president, continued his stupidity, and now he's run for president. This is the third time. He failed the first two times because he caught plagiarizing, because he doesn't have a thought of his own, right? Doesn't have the ability to generate a thought of his own, even with speechwriters. Right? Even with speechwriters, he still got caught plagiarizing and lying, right? His son is obviously caught doing a bunch of criminal acts, right? And now you have him, Democrats, as your candidate. And he can't, did you see his speech today? Really? That's your guy? That's why all this is happening, right? We have a bunch of people that want to Russia, China, etc. Yeah. So that's the other thing that I get. And I think he's attacking President Trump, I believe, talking about Russia, China, etc. And really, okay. Obviously a genius who doesn't know anything that's happening right now in regard to the criminal activities of the FBI, DOJ, the Obama administration, Biden, Rice, Comey, illegally investigating the Trump administration prior to them even taking office. Obviously, Charles, you've missed all of that. I'm so sorry. But maybe you're talking about Biden and his issues in the Ukraine and his son's issues in China, and that he's essentially, if he gets hired, he's going to hand over everything back to China that we just were able to win from China and be able to earn what we deserve from all the other countries that have been taking money from us for years, billions of dollars. Donald Trump did that. Not Biden, not Obama. I almost said Biden. Not Obama or Biden. None of those people, right? Biden, who doesn't know his wife, right? He doesn't know. He thought he was running for Senate when in fact he was running for president. That guy is the guy that you have as your nominee for the presidency of the United States. All right. So sorry, I went way long and I kind of bantered there towards the end. So I want to have a shot. I usually do it at the end of my show. I don't want to do it before my show because then I would slur my words. But Elijah Craig is my whiskey for the day. Elijah Craig. I don't know that I think it's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and small batch. There was the word I was looking for. And that'll be, so my toast to all of you for watching. Please share, please like, please comment. If you're watching the replay, I would appreciate the shares so much because I have been throttled way down. My shows have been throttled way down, and some of them have been taking off and that kind of stuff because of the, I give facts and truth and reports. So please share. I would appreciate that. I'll take this off for now. Do you see the video of Biden talking about getting the children to market? No, I got to see that one. Send that to me. I get sent so many videos. Send that video to me. I get sent so many videos, and I get a lot of repeats. So, Amy, that one I have not seen. Cinnamon churro ice cream. Okay. I love you, Deanne. Thanks for watching. All right, my friends. Thank you. I appreciate you. Please share, like, comment, and do all those things if you're watching the replay in particular. Whether you're watching on YouTube, I saw we have Twitter fans. We have YouTube. I have people watching from Twitter and YouTube. I appreciate all of you too. And there you go. All right, that's the end of my show. I'll see you later. Take care. Bye.